Hi, I'm Mel Dowie. I'm the Onboarding and Education Specialist here at Dext. Welcome to Module 1 of the Academy for Extraordinary Accountants and Bookkeepers. Let's get started. In this video, I'm going to show you how to use the cleanup tools. We're going to take a look at bank reconciliation, so how to get a clear understanding of the status of all bank reconciliations on one screen. We're also going to take a look at duplicate contacts, so how to clean up all duplicate contact names in your GL, so supplier analysis is accurate and up to date. We're also going to look at multi-coded contacts. This check ensures the consistent and accurate use of all tax and account codes. I'm going to show you how to clean up all duplicate transactions in your GL, so tax submissions and reporting is accurate, so that you can avoid those embarrassing client conversations. Enter into your client's account. You will see here on the overview screen, we have our cleanup tool section. We give you an overview of any unreconciled transactions in the bank, any duplicate contacts, any multi-coded contacts, any contact defaults that we're suggesting, if you have dormant accounts that can be cleaned up and archived, and any and all duplicate transactions. So I'm going to take you through each one of these. First of all, please note that the bank reconciliation is currently available for Xero clients only. So your QBO clients, we cannot show you the bank transaction detail. Navigate over to your cleanup section here and click into bank reconciliation. For all Xero clients, Precision uses a combination of Xero's bank statement report data, bank transactions, and payments to provide an interactive view across all of an organization's bank accounts. The format loosely follows Xero's bank reconciliation report, distinguishing between outstanding payments and receipts and any unreconciled bank transactions. The great thing about this check is that you have all of your bank accounts in one screen. In Xero, you can see them on your dashboard, but to access the reconciliation report, you would have to go into each bank account and run that report. Duplicate contacts. This is where we'll be able to show you if you have any contacts that appear to be a duplicate name. This includes suppliers or customers. This can happen if you create a new contact during the process of inputting an invoice or similar and miss the fact that the contact already exists. You can review these. You may dismiss any which are not true duplicates. And for Xero clients, clicking the name of the contact will take you to the Xero to amend them. You can change the precision at which you're looking at these contacts. So if I change this precision to medium and recalculate, you can see it's identified some other ones, some other possible duplicates. Each duplicate, as mentioned, can be dismissed. This means that Precision will no longer count that combination of client names to be a potential duplicate. Dismissed items do not contribute to the health score. Any dismissed duplicates can be viewed by selecting Dismissed from the filter at the top of the screen, where you can then review and undo any accidental dismissals. You can dismiss multiple duplicates at a time by selecting Select All above the list or by using the checkboxes on the right of the card. Multi-coded contacts. Depending on which region you are living in, this will show you information such as the account code used and your tax codes also used for a particular contact. In this example, we're using a UK company, but if you are in Australia, this will be your GST codes. Each invoice and bank transaction line item is assigned an account code and tax code in your GL. The majority of the time, these codes should be consistent for a given supplier or customer, but this gives you the opportunity to be able to review those codes to those contacts to ensure that the right codes and the right tax codes are being used. We've crunched the numbers to find these potential miscodings, and you'll see them presented in this insight. Again, you can choose to dismiss if you feel that this combination of use is correct, and we won't ask you about this again. But in the future, if something changes in what you have dismissed, so if, for example, you choose a different tax code or someone has posted to a different tax code or account code, we will pop this warning up again for you to have a review. Contact defaults. Contacts in Xero can be set up with default account codes and tax types for sales and purchases. Contact default is currently available for Xero clients only. If set, Xero will use these to pre-populate the account code or tax type fields during bank statement reconciliation. For contacts that your client has a recurring relationship with, setting these defaults in Xero can dramatically speed up the reconciliation process. Again, you have the option to select all and dismiss all if you're not interested in using the contact defaults. If you do choose to set as a default by clicking on this button here, that will set that in Xero for you. Dormant accounts. This view identifies general ledger accounts that have not had any transactional activity recorded against them from the dormant since date that you supply at the top here. You can review the transaction history of these accounts and decide whether or not to take action on Precision's suggestion. The idea is to help you identify old account codes that could be cleaned up, either through archiving or deleting, for better reporting. Typically, people may do this check perhaps once a year. It just helps to make sure that codes aren't being used by mistake to avoid that multi-coded contact scenario at the top that we talked through a minute ago. Again, you can select all and dismiss all or setting them. If you do choose archive, we will push this over and archive those accounts for you. And lastly in our cleanup tools is our duplicate transactions. Here, Precision looks across invoices and bank transactions and highlights records that it thinks could be unwanted duplicates. This view allows you and your clients avoid embarrassing situations where you might inadvertently pay a supplier twice or charge a customer twice. You can filter to check between purchase and sales at the top here. And you can sort by name, transaction value, or date. So for example, here you can see there was a bank transaction posted for Capital Crab Co. But perhaps later on someone pushed through an invoice, maybe through Prepare. So for example, you can see that here someone has done a bank transaction, a spend money or receive money transaction. But later, someone may have pushed the invoice through Prepare with Receipt Bank. Or they posted it manually onto this contact. You now have a duplication both on your general ledger, but also you may have an invoice that will never be cleared in the purchase or sales ledger because the bank transaction has already been reconciled. We will spot these errors for you and highlight them to see if they are indeed a duplication. If they are not, you can dismiss them. You can change your comparison range at the top to show how far apart these transactions may take place. So this gives you an opportunity to be able to review different comparison ranges and also your transactions between date at the top here. So let's just recap on the cleanup tools that we went through, and let me share with you the ones that I think you would want to concentrate more on. Bank reconciliation is a pretty important one to keep an eye on. Typically, you would have this reconciled if you were doing the bookkeeping in-house, but this is one that you'll want to keep an eye on for any of your clients that are doing DIY bookkeeping. This will give you an indication of the condition of the bank recs. Are they actually reconciling, when their last statement activity was, in case they haven't updated their feed for quite some time. So this really will give you an overview of the condition of the bank. So this will give you a better indication of how much work is involved in getting those banks reconciled and up to date. The multi-coded contacts, I would definitely keep a really close eye on these. The reason being is when you have different team members doing bookkeeping in different ways, or when you have external bookkeepers, outsourced bookkeepers, or you have clients doing their own bookkeeping, everybody uses different account codes. So you want to make sure that the consistency is there around the use of the account codes, and particularly the use of the tax codes, whether that's GST for Australia, VAT for the UK. This is where you can understand how these codes are being used, checking that these codes are being used correctly, and then you can build a standardized process around this going forward. And then you have duplicate transactions. Again, another one that you would really want to keep an eye on. There is often the mistake of this situation of Capital Co, where you have invoices being put onto ledgers when transactions have already been reconciled through bank payments, spend money transactions, for example. So this is not good when you have duplications on your ledgers, because clients could be paying more tax than they should be, or not claiming enough tax when they should be. So that concludes our overview of the cleanup tools.